Hey guys, we got a special one here for you. This one is one that I consider to be a very underappreciated killer deal put out by Spyderco and St. Nick Knives. This was in 2023, I believe. They ran about $125 and it is just massive goodness for 125 bucks. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, overall length, 8 3/4 inches. Just absolutely massive. There you go. Up close, 8 3/4. That look like 8 3/4 to you? Maybe a 16th under? In between, 32nd? Let's not split hairs. The blade. Check this out. 3 1/2. I mean, that's kind of over 3 1/2, right? That's like 7/16. Or is that 5/8? Let's call it 5/8. I'm going to say 5/8. Edge. 3 1/2. Can we call it 3 1/2? Let's call it 3 1/2. Handle. Look at this. 5 1/8. You see that? It's a beast. A lockback beast. Weight on this thing. In ounces. Just stay. 80.5 grams, just like I said, in ounces. then ounces 2.84, so not too heavy on the pockets. We have an interesting Spyderco clip here. This one is done a lot differently, so there's no screws. It's like kind of a larger single Phillips flathead style. The pocket clip is embedded or recessed or countersunk, whatever you want to call it, into the handle, made of FRN. So this is fiberglass reinforced nylon by Spyderco. I think the other is GRN, glass reinforced nylon. And right there on it, you see, we say clip it Goddard. Can you read that? Do you see? Do you see? Let's shed some light on this. Do you see? Yes. We have a pinned side pivot that is going to be captive. And then the one body screw. So the construction is the clip with an interesting like flathead, Phillips head style. Doesn't look like that's going to take anything else. Very interesting head on that. And then what looks like a T10? T10? No, not quite. It's a little bit big. Is that a T9? T9 on the pivot. T9 on the pivot. And let's start with the 6. A little bit of movement on the 6. Maybe it's a 7. Yeah, that's a 7 on the body. So we want odd numbers. We have 7 and 9. Nice Spyderco pocket clip. Your typical stamp clip. This one runs a little bit lower than the typical Spydercos, if I venture to say so. So there is your regular Spyderco clip rise and the Goddard clip rise. So a much more shallow clip. There's a para 2. I saw a post that said PM3. Yeah, I think it said PM3 is being like accepted now, and then people were like, "Oh wait, hold on, we haven't had this debate yet." I don't know if it's accepted yet, but really it should be because it is in the line. I know there's arguments over the Para 2 and the PM3 and the Paramilitary 3. I don't care. I don't care. But let's get intimate with this thing. Seki City, Japan. Wayne Goddard, which is a knife designer that started like in the early 90s. I think this was to pay homage. I think he's passed now, and I think this was an homage from St. Nick's to the late Wayne Goddard. I could be wrong. Wayne Goddard Jr. Not 100% sure. I'm not an historian. And a quick Google search didn't yield much results. So blade steel is CPM4V, so a tool steel, which is always nice when they do a DLC with the tool steel. I always try to choose DLC when it comes to tool steels, just because that little added protection against rust. There you go. So typically tool steels don't have any chromium, if I'm not mistaken. So they're heavier carbon and cobalt, which leads to less prone for more likely to rust. Let's just go with that. The nice typical Spyderco FRN. This one is not as like directional. So on a model like the Little Temperance, I pointed out that the handle, let's not cut myself. Excuse me, I had a cough. Handle is more angled. So if you can see, these are directional, meaning that it's hard to push against, but easy to pull. And then vice versa on this side, hard to push against, but slides towards the center. So it like pushes you into the center. If this will catch up, focus, get in there. Come on. Focus. Do you see? Do you see? Whereas a Goddard is pretty flat. So these are not directional squares. They do give you good grip. Do not get me wrong. I mean, this is definitely a knife for gloves. 100%. Get a little bit of a divot in the back lock to make it easier on your thumb. Not so sharp, not so squared. But handle is flat. Hopefully you can see there. So it doesn't have that grippiness like the Little Temperance 3 FRN. And there's the blade. Now remember, this is a DLC coated, but it is likely a PVD DLC. PVD is the process, not the coating. The coating is DLC. And my experience with DLC is it's usually, well, my experience with DLC is mostly Spyderco, so it's nice and kind of matte finish. A little bit dull, which I think is nice. And usually, any marks and stuff, they clean right off. The DLC, the hardness is like something crazy like 86. Now, this is right side and left side tip up only. One more time this way. Okay, let's get this up against some other models. Since I already had the Little Temperance 3 out here, very highly recommended model. Let's leave it out here. Bring it in a little bit closer. Let's say there. There's your Little Temperance 3. And being a clip it, I do have one other clip it, which is the Chinese clip it, or China clip it. I don't know if this model, I think it's just the clip it. I think it's a clip it series, right? So there is some variations, but I think when it comes to the tools, I definitely want to do a video on this because this is very highly recommended from Wa for camping. This is a must-have when I go camping. Let's switch the Little Temperance and let's go back lock. being a backlock, I feel it's only right to compare this against the Seki City backlock line. There is the Dragonfly. Here's the Delica. Just dwarfs them. Absolutely dwarfs them. Let's move to the Andella. This is the Emerson Wave with the little tool. It's got a little tool in front of the butt. So in front of the butt is its tool. It sticks out, protrudes. This is the Endura and Warncliffe, which is very close in size. There you go. And here's the regular Endura, since you're going to be probably comparing these two models. Because the question is going to be, why do I need a knife that big if it's Spyderco and backlock and FRN? Well, because you have two very different blades. That's why. If you need more reasons to tell your wife why, or whoever it is, your significant other, why, you need another Spyderco. You just let me know. I got you. I got your back on this. So, you know, this one's a Warncliffe. You have to have a Warncliffe. This one is a leaf shape, right? So you got to have the drop point leaf shape. And this one's a drop point, but this is more of a straight back lock, straight back drop point, right? Right? It's much different. This has a bigger belly. You need the belly. This is larger in the butt, so we need that. We need that larger handle for your hands. We can figure this out together. How about the Stretch 2? We're comparing to the middle one, Rob. The Stretch 2. And the Stretch 2 XL and Micro Melt. Again, I mean, just like looking at the Endura, right? So a little more belly on the Stretch 2 XL, a little thicker handle than the Endura. Very similar in length, but the Wayne Goddard's got that, you know, extra length there, and a different clip. I mean, that there is enough justification on why, you know, if you can get your hands on a Wayne Goddard. And I know I'm like 2 years too late on this, but I didn't have a channel rolling 2 years ago. I hadn't quite figured it out, so yeah, we have a lot of catch up to do. We have a whole lot of catching up to do here. Let's get the Stretch 2 out of the way. Let's look at the jumpers. The leaf jumper. And the rock jumper. Very recommended. Much different backlock on these than some of the other models. It's I would say it's like a softer, maybe a softer backlock, not so pronounced. It's like a D10, right? If we're going to talk about size, let's talk about the Masaraub. You can't have one without having both, right? I think we need both of these. You can justify these just because the Masaraub, I mean, you need it. It's just, there's want and there's need. Like you want to protect your family, you need life insurance, but you don't want to pay for it. Right? It's like necessary, like auto insurance. Some states require it, some states don't. But nobody wants it. This is a want and a need, so it's justified, right? You can justify needs because it's needed. It's harder to justify wants, but when a want is equal to a need, then you have complete justification. So if ever you need justification on why you need that Spyderco you want, we got this. There's a Lumtanto. These are the larger ones. Now let's bring it across the pond. And let's go into, well, let's stay on that continent for a minute. There is the Alcyone and the Tenacious. If we're going to be looking at China, we should probably bring out the Emphasis. That's going to be a larger one. Definitely in size. You need both of these. Excuse me again. We must have both of these. You must have both of these. You don't just need them. You don't just want them. You have to have them. There's going to be a time where you have to carry the Emphasis. Maybe like a zombie apocalypse or something. Or, you know, maybe you got to outrun the law or a zombie or an alien, and that 2.3 ounces or however much it was, like the lightness of the Wayne Goddard, like that's gonna make a big difference. You know, you're trying to run with your family and protect them. You don't need something heavy like the Emphasis weighing down your pants, right, pulling them down. You need something light like the Wayne Goddard. So there's your want and your need. Told you, we got this. Let's just go big, because it's a big one. The military too. And the military too. And the Yo Jumbo. I would put this in that class. That they're large and in charge. There we go. And just to give you some good size comparisons, how about the Gale Bradley 2? And, well, we're going to need a PM too. Stick with the Emerson Waves. There is the Paramilitary 2. And just in case you don't have any of those, maybe you're new on the Spyderco, maybe you have a pair of 3. There's the pair of 3. But don't worry, because if you only have one Spyderco, it won't be long. You'll probably have another. Because Spydercos are like breasts, right? Once you feel and see one, you want to feel them all. You may not want to own them all, but you at least want to play with them all, right? Am I wrong? The Mannix 2. And the Shaman. If you don't have any Spydercos in this video intrigued you and you're just curious, I'll give you a bug out. There's a Benchmade. All right. Now for the most important comparison of them all. We're going blade to blade. We're going edge to edge. And handle to handle. Ooh, one is getting close, but I think Ida is maintaining its position and handle length. The everyday axe, because real men, we carry axes. And this is the Wayne Goddard. So if you liked what you saw and you made it this far, you know what to do.
I made you a logo.
I love it, buddy. but you got to sign it.
And our knives, Jack.